Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Mr. Toots, and I have a spin on 8cast. 8cast is agreed among many of the people who are deep on the format or anyone who's looking at data or anything as one of the best decks in Legacy. Maybe the best deck in Legacy. It's not really my style, so I would not register it for a tournament, but the numbers and power level of the stock 8cast deck are undeniable. This deck is amazing. And Mr. Toots has taken it for a little spin and added a second engine to it, where now it's also a combo deck. What we've got here is Mirran Spy, a card that I probably have not thought about at all since I was drafting Scars of Mirran block. And as soon as I read it, I was like, I bet this is one of those cards that only has one printing, it's dirt cheap in non-foil, and kind of expensive in foil. And I was right. Those 88 cents is tingling. It's like a 15-cent card with a $7 foil, only one printing. 3 mana, 1/3 flyer. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may untap target creature. That's the kind of inspirational text where that makes us ask, how do we break this? And the answer is Emry Lurker of Block with 0 mana things that could sacrifice themselves. Which, it turns out, 8cast is full of. Lotus Petal with Emry and Mirran Spy is infinite mana. 2 Mox Opals with Emry and Mirran Spy is infinite mana because they legend rule each other. Functionally taking the long road to just turn themselves into Lotus Petal. And of course, Urza's Bauble and Mishra's Bauble are infinite untap triggers. And you have to be careful with this one, because if you just say infinite and then pass the turn, you're going to draw more cards than you have in your deck. But you can set up a multi-turn line of putting Bauble into play, counting exactly how many cards are in your deck. If you have like 41 cards in your deck, you say, Bauble you 40 times, pass the turn, and then on the next turn you Thassa's Oracle with all 4 Force of Wills in your hand from a 0-card deck. Any of these things also create infinite artifact cast triggers or artifact ETB triggers. Psy Master Thopterist. Whenever you cast an artifact, make a 1/1 Thopter. It's pretty good when you could cast as many artifacts as you want, making infinite Thopters. If you have one of the infinite mana engines, Lotus Petal or the double Opal, you can also pay 1 and a blue to sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. So you can make infinite Thopters and then use your infinite mana to sack them as many times as you want until your deck's empty and you cast Thassa's Oracle. This skips the pass the turn line of just Bauble and Emry, and Psy lets you do it right away. And Kappa Cannoneer. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, +1/+1 counter on it, can't be blocked. Just get in there for infinite in combat. So there's a bunch of fun little loops that go with Mirran Spy. And of course, all of this is just tucked inside 8cast. We can just Chalice of the Void, Urza Saga, Thought Monitor, bury our opponent, tutor up Shadow Spear, construct tokens, blah, 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 blah. We know how that works. Of course, these 3 slots had to come from somewhere. The 1 Thassa's Oracle, the 2 Mirran Spy. The rest of this deck has not changed at all, but only 1 Kappa Cannoneer, only 2 Psy. There's no Graveyard Hate Bauble like a Soul Guide Lantern in the main deck that we could tutor for. So there's a couple little slots here and there that are slowing down the 8cast engine, but we got this fun combo on top of it. And that's the Emry Mirran Spy SpyCast combo. Let's go play it. I am on the draw in round number 1. I have a turn 1 Emry with Force Backup. Kind of all in on that Emry because I don't have a land, but risk it for the biscuit. Let's go. Kind of sucks that Thassa's Oracle is in my opening hand, because that is my most likely blue card to pitch if I have to force something. But also, force pitching Thassa's Oracle tells a very different story than what my deck is actually doing. Oh no. I have to force this because if they just take Mox Opal, I can't win the game ever. So force pitching Thassa's Oracle. I have now indicated a statement that is not true to my opponent. And that statement is, I'm Doomsday or Breakfast or some such thing. Okay. Start with Bauble, Petal, Opal. And now I'm kind of tempted to play Chalice instead of Emry. And Chalice will replace the Petal for Metalcraft. Yeah, I do kind of think this is better. Alright. Go ahead. I'm not going to Bauble here, because if it misses on a land or 0-mana artifact, I lose. This turns off Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, Duress, etc. I suspect they're either Storm or Doomsday. Verdant Catacombs. That makes me lean more in the direction of Doomsday than Storm. Okay. Emry, Lurker of the Lock. Costs 1, but isn't a 1-drop. Just good deck building. Now, Urza's Bauble. What do you got over there? There's a Dark Ritual in hand. We're locking out at least one thing. And I am a Force of Will deck that can now play another thing. Oh, Dark Ritual and Reanimate. Oh, is this the... I mean, the Bug Scam deck doesn't play Reanimate. What are we doing over there? Curious. Okay, we are Grief scamming. You can take a look at my handful of baubles. Grief pitched the Reanimate. Sure. Size gone. They could just go land Doomsday here and set up a line. Or they could float blue-black and concede the game. Unclear. Okay. This could just be some scam pile, but it's probably baked into something. Dark Ritual's not in Death Shadow, and I have seen Reanimate in some Doomsday lists, so I'm going to play like this is Doomsday. Force of Negation, Flusterstorm aren't going to be involved. I don't think I have to combo kill this deck. I think I just have to block them out and beat them. I'll still leave in a Mirran Spy because it does do cool stuff and make me draw enough Force of Wills to win the game. Shadow Spear, Aether Spell Bomb, probably not important. They could have Shouldrids, I guess, but I hope I can beat those with counterspells. Maybe I talked myself into leaving Aether Spell Bomb in the mix. Emry's good, Size good. Still need to cut 3 cards, that's so many. Maybe I'll cut the Kappa. Yeah, just stay alive and nickel and dime them with whatever's left, and I do still have my infinite combo I can hit the button on if I need to. Yikes, where do we find room for all these cards? Alright, Aether Spell Bomb's out. If you shouldered me, I will simply die. Shrug, guess I'm dead. And one more card. I don't want to start cutting Thought Monitors because I'm pretty slim on win conditions at this point. Normally I would trim an Opal or something, but because we have the Emry loop, but I can't go infinite with Emry anymore, so alright, an Opal's out. Get in there. And I could still go infinite, I just don't have Thassa's Oracle to leverage it. And I think the fill your hand with counter magic aspect of that combo is more important than the Thassa's Oracle aspect. On the draw, of course, because I won game 1, I'm on this 1 Opal, look at 3 new cards thing, but I do have Force Blue card. Alright, I'll keep it. Yeah, these hands are so weird, because it's like, this hand is not good, but it could be anything. And I'm going to see 5 cards before the game is really going to start for me. I don't know, I'm in. Dark Ritual, you did it. I think I hesitated too long on that Dark Ritual. They know I have a counterspell. Entomb. Alright, I am going to Force of Negation this Entomb. If their hand is Force Blue card plus Reanimate, they're going to win the game. If it's not that, I'm feeling okay. This also could be bait, and they just go Lotus Petal Doomsday. That would be sick. Okay, the Entomb's countered. I don't know. Let's see. And they just pass the turn burning off 2 mana. Hell yeah. Emry off the top. Or Chalice of the Void. Some payoff. Okay, I'll take a land. I'll get a look at the cards that are in their hand. You've got an Exhume. Can we see another one? Or am I going to see Exhume again? Alright. We saw Exhume again. Could be 2 Exhumes, but we have no way to know that. Bauble the top card of your deck. It's a Serenity. In that case, I just won't play out my artifacts. And that's why we peak. Ancestral Recall in your upkeep. And we ended up with Force Blue card again. And a replacement Bauble. This is enough to Thoughtcast off of. Okay, they don't have the land to play their Serenity, or they're sandbagging it to blow me out later. Cool. Now I can force blue card and play Thoughtcast. Dump out my stuff. Thoughtcast is going to cost me a life, but I have one floating on the other end if I draw a cool card to play. Urza Saga would be great to find here. No such luck. Look at the top card of your deck again. It's an Unmask. In that case, I will wait on popping my other bauble. Thought Monitor. Ooh, that's a card that I would very much like to still be in my hand on my turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can cast it for Xaxes. It would cost me my pedal unless I draw another artifact here. Or mana source. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can cast this, or I could Thoughtcast first and hope to leverage. I think I want to do that. Nice. There's a Saga's in the mix now. And I can play Emry. This one is worth investing in. And I'm gonna bobble you again. Sure. Oh, there's an anime dead over there as well. And all sorts of information. I'm okay bobbling here because between Urza Saga and Emry, I can just turn Opal back on from nothing. Chalice of the Void. If I can drop that on 2 this turn, I think they're just done forever. Unmask targeting yourself. Pitching the anime dead. Don't really want a creature to end up in the graveyard here, but I also think I can beat that. Okay, I think I can beat this. Yeah, Grizzlebrand in the graveyard, Dark Ritual Exhume, and then you're just left with Serenity. Sure, Double Force is pretty strong. Dark Rit, Exhume. I'm going to Force of Will, pitching, I think, Thought Monitor. As much as I want that card, I'd rather have a bunch of forces left over. Yeah, they're just done. Cool. Dismantling of this interesting take on Reanimator. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the draw for round 2, with a hand that has Force of Will but doesn't actually do anything, I'm going to send it. Oh yeah. This one has an accelerated Saga. Alright, I'll keep this and bottom Thassa's Oracle and hope it's a fair matchup without Wasteland. Oh god, opponent's molding 4. We're getting turn 0'd. Leyline of the Void. That's pretty good against my Emry combo deck. Let's see what they are actually doing here, though. There's a Saga, get in. Shadow Spear, get in. Mox Opal, get in. I just want to play out my things, because there are good chances to discard deck. Okay, do you have second thing and Helm? Of course you do. Son of a biscuit. I would have molded 4 as well. Good call. And that doesn't help me. Yep, I mean, that works. Cool. I will bring in all my Force of Negations. And there's not a Pithing Needle in this 75. I just realized. That's disappointing. There's not a Brazen Borrower in this 75 either. Okay. Those are cards that we lost to make the combo possible. And I swear I'm not going to just board out the combo every round, but they're a dedicated Leyline deck. The combo just doesn't work. And because we made room for this combo, we don't have cards that can remove a Leyline. That was the deck building cost. Haywire Might, I guess, could remove a Leyline. I have to leave in my Emrys just on the chance that they don't have the thing, because that is a core of my engine, but boy does it feel bad. Oh, maybe Chalice of the Void should go out over all of this stuff. So if I do that, I get Spy, Oracle back. Yuck. I don't love this, but Chalice does seem pretty bad for the matchup. But now I have a bunch more blue cards in the deck. Alright, here's what I have. Let's do it. This hand would have easily won last game. I will keep it and see if they want to chase a 4 again. I think I'd rather have Seed of the Synod in play. When it comes to affinity spells, Seed of the Synod is also functionally 2 mana, the same way Ancient Tomb is. Okay, we're also a Thoughtseize deck, it seems. Maybe Chalice is better than I thought. When you see the only spells they cast in game 1 were 2 4-drops, it's hard to know what the rest of the composition of their deck is. Chalice on 0, that is actually a problem for me. I hate that I have to do this, and they saw it, so they know what they're doing to me here. They just play a second Chalice on 0. I'm gonna go nuts. Okay, Sai. Kappa. Kappa's pretty good. I'll play out my Seed of the Synod. We're still pretty far away from Thought Monitor. From Mox. Removing a Voidwalker, which is a card that I would have liked to play if I were them, so I assume they have more of them. Sheoldred the Apocalypse, that's a good one. Okay. I don't know how anyone is ever expected to beat the hand they've presented, but I will shove Kappa Cannoneer into play next turn and see if I can race, which... Let me tell you about racing Sheoldred. Not a thing. Through Emry the turn after she matters. Perfect. Take 1,000 to play my Kappa. Oh, I can just block Sheoldred. That works. Did not attack, though. Settling in. And Kappa does read when an artifact comes into play, or enters the battlefield under your control, more specifically, which is different than casting. I guess I can play Emry here and see if anything happens. Nope, just a bunch of stuff that kills me under Sheoldred. Yeah, this was a non-match for sure. Their start game 1, they just force-checked me and I failed. And then game 2, Thoughtseize into Quick Sheoldred. And Chalice on 0, which did actually matter a little bit. But it was mostly Sheoldred. GG's.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the play for round 3, and I have a turn 1 Chalice, a turn 2 Sai, and Mirran Spy. I'm keeping. Sounds good. Seed of the Synod, Mox Opal, Lotus Petal, and Chalice of the Void on 1. Hope it's a matchup where this is good. Guess I could have bobbled them first and got more information about whether Chalice is going to be good or not. And I am going to bobble them. I think a redraw is more important than sandbagging for a possible side trigger. Whatever. Just give me a card. Brainstorm on top of their deck. Chalice at least has some hits in the pile, including that Aether Spellbomb. FML. Okie dokie. I'd love a mana source here. That's not Mox Opal. Or, yeah, just the nuts. I'll take that. Sai Master's Thopterist. And I'll pass the turn. I can get a Thopter out of my Aether Spellbomb now. At least casting it does do something. Wasn't going to do it on to at the cost of Lotus Petal, but if I just have a mana laying around, I could get into that. Mox Opal. Okay, this is a bunch of Thoppies. So I'll float blue, play Mox Opal, get a Thop, and I keep the new Opal, then Aether Spellbomb gets countered, but I get a Thopter. All of these are making my constructs absolutely fudge-normous for next turn. And passed. For a Brainstorm Baleful Strix strategy with basic Swamp in it. That doesn't tell me a whole lot. Could be Doomsday that are still on Strixes. Could be... It's not Cephalid Breakfast with this mana base. Petty Theft my Sai in response to making a Saga. Okay. You got me. I'll have to settle for my pair of 9/9s. And I'm just going all the way in on Construct production here. And tutor up. Probably just Shadow Spear. As much as I would like to draw more cards. Yeah, Shadow Spear is really good against Baleful Strix. And Thoughtcast. I think this is worth a Lotus Petal here. Okay, they've conceded to Thoughtcast. Of all the things I've done, they're like, yeah, Thoughtcast is the one that'll get me to press the button. Okay, Brazen Borrower, Underground Sea, basic, Baleful Strix. Is this ninjas that didn't get off the ground? Is it Death Shadow that just didn't show me a Watery Grave because I Chalice on one and they knew they couldn't play Shadow anyway? I'm going to treat this like it's a fair deck rather than Doomsday. So I guess it could be that. I don't know. I'm going to go fewer Force of Will up to Flusterstorm. All right. I don't really know what they're up to yet, but exchange some of the 2-for-1 interaction for 1-for-1 interaction. Ooh, disappointing. Double Chalice. Cannot leverage it. I do get to draw 5 cards before turn 2. Force of Will, can't leverage that. I'm going to keep this hand, though. Island to go is what they got for me. Ancient Tomb off the top. Oh, sick. That's almost as good. Bobble, bobble, bobble. And Emry. I could bobble before I Emry to get some information about their hand or deck, but it doesn't matter. I'm still casting Emry. And now let's look at their hand. Ice Fang Coatl. Okay. For sure, just some bug pile of cards. Ice Fang Coatl in hand, drawing Baleful Strix. I'm going to save the other bobble and do it after they draw. I would like to continue gleaning information here. I'd also like to hit a land drop deck. Come on now. Baleful Strix. I'll look at the card they're about to draw before they draw it. It's a Snow Forest. Okay, 2 looks at a land to get Chalice of the Void in would be great. Nope, no chance. Why would I think that's even an option? Oh, Lotus Petals in my graveyard. Okay. I will invest in success on Lotus Petal here. And bobble you again. Keep the cards coming. Brainstorm. Got him again. This could be a Lauren. It's a 3-color deck full of cheap creatures that cantrip. That's live. Getting a Chalice on 2 into play this turn would be pretty nice. Burrow is rough. Lands in play. My Aether Spellbomb's in the deck somewhere. I'm also holding Force of Will in my hand, so Chalice on 2 seems pretty reasonable. Especially now that I drew the Mox Opal to draw a card while I do it. Play Mishra's Bauble. Mox Opal. I think getting the Chalice down now is worth more than getting Sai and a bunch of stuff into play this turn. I can do that next turn after my opponent can't play Magic anymore. Okay. This Ice Fang Coatl is locked out. I'll bobble them now. I know they can fetch it away, but that's random. Aloran confirmed. I'd love if you shuffle that away. Yeah, hide that information that you have the best card that you could draw. One thing I really like about Magic Online is you can't look. Like in paper, I would bobble my opponent, they'd fetch, they'd pick up their deck, they'd look to see what they just fetched away, and they'd know about the level system for the next one. And it's not even a level system. Like Jason Mind Sculptor, I can make a choice, but this is just, that was the card that was there. But Amoto is just gone, and you'll never know. Okie dokie. Artichokes. I think it's time to turtle up this board and stop losing to Baleful Strix. Psy Master Thopterist arrives, immediately brings multiple friends, which puts me into Insano mode on Affinity. Emry, get back another bauble. Trigger, 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 trigger. Thought Monitor, trigger, 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 trigger. One of the things that I have to observe in due diligence about this deck is that 8cast is such an efficient murder machine that it might not be the correct deck to a 3-card combo into, because your opponent's just already dead a large amount of the time. And who cares? I am going to spew off Bobble to get a Thoughtcast through this turn. Just keep it coming. This draws 2 cards and makes a Thopter. I still have my land drop. If I find a Saga, we just go off. Found an Ancient Tomb and another Bauble. Bauble can draw another card. And I don't mind looking at the Aether Channeler again. I would rather just pad my hand with counter spells. Okay. Can you win this turn? Because I'm coming in there next. This Baleful Strix is done dealing damage to me forever. Quaddle's countered. What they're doing with the Brainstorm last turn and the Quaddle now are just fueling Uro. Oh yeah. Put him in the bin. I have a Force of Will for the Uro. And an Ottawara for the Uro. And a Kappa that can be bigger than Uro. A real decision here. Because Uro can go off with a Lauren. And my Force of Will works on a Lauren. Do I want to just Ottawara or put Kappa in front of the Uro and just make sure I don't lose to a Lauren? And I think I do want to do that. Kappa will be bigger than this thing. Go ahead, draw 2 cards, whatever. I just want to make sure I don't lose to a Lauren, knowing that they have multiple 3-drops available that can go off with it. Draw for turn. Spellbomb, unfortunate. But we are going to start by capping. No cap. And I'm doing Kappa first, even though I could have attacked for extra damage with my Thopters if I played artifacts first, because I want Kappa to be as big as possible. Okay, there's that one. And play Thought Monitor. Get Kappa bigger than Uro right away. Solve that problem. Another Thought Monitor. Emry needs to produce a blue source here, so I can Ottawara. Replay this Opal. Nowhere in my adventures did we come up with an additional land. Okay, and I can attack for 2 in the air. And in my end step, I have exactly 7 cards in hand, so I don't have to do anything. Perfect. 9/9, ready to tangle with Uro. Yep, they're gonna attack. They drew 2 cards off the Uro that I could have forced on the front side, but also they threw 3 cards into the graveyard off Chalice of the Void just to get this Uro here. So this is just like a really awkward Cephalid Coliseum that we're seeing play out here. This makes a bird, bounces a non-land permanent, or draws a card. I don't think I care about this. They can't bounce Kappa. Yeah, they're just drawing a card. My Chalices have a big squeeze on this game. And we can just go to my turn. I don't think I need to sack 2 artifacts to draw a card, because winning the game here is a good enough plan, all on its own. It usually is. Kappa Cannoneer plus Psy Master Thopterist is messed up. If I can find a Mirran Spy along the road here, in all these draw steps, I will try to maneuver it into play. Just to say we got a combo kill. It's all in there. Come on, deck. Come up with it. Okay, Kappa, bigger. Draw 2 cards. Lotus Petal. This will cast Thoughtcast. Just going to keep digging until they concede or I find Mirran Spy. Thoughtcast. Ah, boo. Count this as a Mirran Spy win. I was likely to find it, and Kappa is likely to be infinite, as if it's not already lethal, but put it on the board. On to the next one.
The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe.
I'm on the draw with both an Accelerated Saga and a Turn 1 Emry. I'll keep this. Those are the 2 things, 2 of the 3 things that are great about this deck. The other one is Turn 1 Chalice of the Void. Let's see what we can make happen. Volcanic Island, I have some concerns about. They could Lightning Bolt, untap, and Wasteland, and then my whole strat is in the pooper. But here is Emry. I'm doing the things that I can do. Now let's look at your hand. See, Sneak Attack, okay. Sneak Attack in the hand, Ponder on top of the deck. Okay, they're not going to Lightning Bolt or Wasteland me, but they might just kill me. What would I prefer? Oh, there's Mirran Spy. Oh, if I draw a blue source, we're infinite on turn 2. Please, deck. Oh my god, please. Or if they show and tell, and I put in Mirran Spy, and then we just go off. Holy moly. This might be a situation where I outrace what they're doing with what I'm doing. They shuffled their Ponder. Good news. Oh my god. We're doing it. Ancient Tomb. Lotus Petal. So I have infinite mana, and I can draw my deck here. Mirran Spy. And alright, we're off. Okay, Lotus Petal. I will put Kappa Cannoneer into play, make it infinitely large, and then draw enough counter spells that I can never lose. That's my plan. This is a lot of clicking. It's not as bad as if I was actually presenting an Oracle win, which I'm not. But this is a shocking number of clicks required to win the game. And having just recorded last week an artifact combo deck where I timed out twice with an infinite combo looping, I am somewhat sensitive to this at the moment, but I know what I signed up for. IRL, I would simply declare I have infinite mana, casting an infinite Kappa, and drawing enough of my deck that I can't lose. Okay, so Lotus Petal is in the graveyard now, and I can get a bonus tap off of Emry. So Emry, tap, target Mishra's Bauble, cast Kappa. I'm not going to tap my Saga to do that, because I can still activate Saga this turn with my infinite mana as well. This is a free bonus tap on Emry. So now Bauble is castable, plus whatever else I want to target. And now let's get the Baubles going. Mishra's Bauble, Urza's Bauble. I'd like to look at more of your hand. Grizzlebrand's in there. Look at the top of your deck. Atrax is there. And that's 1, 2. I have to keep track of this. 2, 3, 4, 5. Omniscience is in there, yikes. 6. I want to see all the cards in their hand. If I know that they can't win, that also works. 7. I'm seeing Grizzlebrand a lot. I wonder if they have 2 of them. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, we've seen the last card now. I did a few that I'm going to edit out. I'm not going to make you all watch every one of those. So, Omniscience, Grizzlebrand, Brainstorm, Sneak Attack, Grizzlebrand, Atrax is on top, Brainstorm, Omniscience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no. There's still one unknown card in their hand. I think we're at 20 here. Yeah, the squeeze here is IRL, I would say. I'll leave 2 cards in my deck, which is enough to guarantee that I have at least 2 forces in my hand. Because even if my bottom 2 cards are forces, there's 2 other ones in my deck. But here, I have to kind of decide what the intersection of enough cards versus leaving time on the clock for the other 2 games. I'll probably stop soon. I've honestly lost count, but I feel like 30 should get me there. And I've looked at their hand and the top of their deck. There's one card that I can't confirm at this point, but right now the cards that I do know do not win the game. Urza's Bauble will come into play. I'm going to stop bobbling them, I think. And now I can get the whole graveyard into play. I guess I could do that anyway. Lotus Petal and Mishra's Bauble. And I could have done this in a way that I can still do it. It's fine. Yep, make a construct and then get Lotus Petal back into play. And now I'm ready to pass the turn. All right, forget it. I'm a coward. In the interest of just making sure I'm okay here, I'm going to bobble them 3 more times. This is not 40. I think it's in the 30s. And I will not deck myself, but I just want to make sure that I don't lose. Okay, always yield to cards named Urza's Bauble. That's going to be important for this turn. And hope I didn't do 45 of these. Here come the cards. Make it rain. Make it rain. Okay, it was in the high 20s, I think. There's at least 1 force of will here, so we've won the game. There's 2 forces. We're good. Brainstorm, sure. Have a good time with that. We did it. It only took 12 minutes. But we did it. We did the Mirran Spy combo, and it actually mattered. We outraced a different combo deck. Now I think we have to turtle up in the opposite direction. Flusterstorm, Haywire Might, 7 hate cards come in, and now that I executed it, I genuinely don't think I'll have time to execute it again. So the combo is going out Shadow Spear is going with it. That's not what this matchup's about. Shave and Opal. And Kappa's a tank, but it's going to be about, does a monster come into play and kill me or not? It's not going to be about anything other than that. Chalice is good against their cantrips, but is bad against all their payoffs. I still want it. And maybe I shave a Mishra's Bauble. I like Psy. Psy can insulate against Emrakul in a way that's really meaningful. Thought Monitor's a little slow, but once it gets going, where does it go? Okay, I'm going to shave a Mishra's Bauble. Go 7 in, 7 out. Here we go. A turn 1 Emry. No interaction here. I'm going to keep, though. Saga can get going, digging for Spellbomb or Haywire Might as necessary. Opponent's on 5. Let's see if that meant they kept a turn 1 or if they dug for a meltdown. Ah, sweet. Drawing another artifact means that I can play Saga instead of Seed of the Synod, and I'm not going to get BTFO'd by Meltdown completely. And here's Emry. She's done her thing. And I'm going to bobble you. Take another look for Force of Will. Attracts on top of the deck. I can Otawara next turn. I'm 1 mana short right now. And they shuffled and cast Brainstorm, so this Atrax is gone. I don't know anything anymore. If they show and tell, I put in Seed of the Synod, then I can Otawara. I got options. Ancient Tomb, show and tell, resolves. I'm going to put in Seed of the Synod and hope that they play something that's susceptible to Otawara. Atraxa, okay. Your trigger's going to resolve. There's a bunch of Azuban Drifters here. That's a cool card. If you missed my video, I 5-0'd with this, basically, the day it became legal. They kept these 4 cards, Emrakul, Scalding Tarn, Show and Tell, Brainstorm. And in the end step, Otawara, send you packing, Emry being a legend, both in our hearts and minds and in the game rules. I would like Mishra's Bauble out of my graveyard. Bauble. This Thought Monitor costs 3 right now. Is that better than a big construct? I don't believe that it is. Let's look at your top card. It's an Ancient Tomb. And if I make my construct now, then I can bobble you again. Look at that Ancient Tomb again. And draw 2 extra cards. We don't see anything that beats either Spellbomb in their hand currently. The Omniscience isn't there, and I'm about to pop my Saga. If they show and tell again, which they're likely to do, I can put in Thought Monitor, draw some cards. They would need to Brainstorm, find Omniscience, and then show and tell to get through all this. Unless they just have it in the meantime. Thought Monitor's coming in. Drax is back. They're going to keep digging. Uh-oh, Fury. I don't like that. They found multiple Furies. That can kill Emry. They only get 1 of these, luckily. Yeah, Fury and Brazen Borrower. They're on a real respectable mid-game plan here. Or mid-range plan that I don't care for. They kept Sneak Attack, Fury, Pyroblast, Defense Grid. And there was a Volcanic Island in there too that I clicked away, but they have that. That one's not important to know about. Fury was cast pitching the Sneak Attack. Those 2 are gone. They can kill my 2 little things. And taking out Emry is important because I'm going to be looping Spellbomb if they don't do that. Yep. I have another Emry, luckily, but does this mean I can't make a construct if I want both? Clean up, discarded the Ancient Tomb. Draw for turn. So they have Pyroblast in hand still, so this Emry isn't even necessarily a thing. Oh, now she's a thing again. Okay. Well, my plan was make a construct, tutor, bounce, but now that I have to play Emry, I think I'm just going to tutor and bounce. They did cast this Brainstorm, right? Yeah, okay. Tutor, Aether Spellbomb. Aether Spellbomb. There's a Saga. Bonus Emry. I am prepared to Force of Will their Pyroblast. There's the Pyroblast. Here's my Force. Lose Thought Monitor to do it. That sucks. and bounce this Atraxa, then attack for 3. These are the things I can do. Okay, opponent, you're up. We are weirdly competitive for how many times they've put Atraxa into play this game. 2 Show and Tell's gone. They sent 2 Vesuvan Drifters to the bottom on one of the Atraxa triggers. Fury and Brazen Borrower also went to the bottom, but they did just shuffle, so none of that means anything. Fetching immediately. Another Show and Tell. Be tough. Magus of the Moon, that's even tougher. I'm holding my basic though, so I'm still in, and I have Mox Opal, so this is fine, as the meme says. Target Aether Spellbomb, and I'm gonna commit Seed of the Synod and rely on Mox Opal here rather than play my basic island. I do think this is better, and I still have a 5/5 smushing into your 2/2. Emergency Brainstorm, let's go. They need to find Show and Tell Omniscience. Even Sneak Attack plus Activate doesn't work unless they can activate it twice. They're making the block. I'm actually more worried about that than if they had just taken it, because that means they want to unlock their mana, or it means they're planning on playing multiple turns still this game. Okay, they're passing the turn. Fascinating. Bobble. Land. I'm going Thought Monitor out of the graveyard here. Would still very much like to find a Force of Will. Wowee! The power of 8 cast, my goodness. They resolved 2 Show and Tells that game, and they Magus the Moon Urza Saga out of play. And we still took them to task. Let's friggin' go. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in round 5. Positive records locked. Grinding that bread and butter 4/1 again. This hand can accelerate Urza Saga with Ancient Tomb. I cannot quite Thoughtcast on turn 1. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm 1 mana short of doing that. I am going to keep this, and I'll probably just Saga Bobble Bobble. I'm going to start with the Urza's Bobble, see what's in their hand. If I see Wasteland, it might change my play. Taiga. I don't even know what decks have Taiga in them. That's not a real Magic card. Fire Ice. Oh, okay. It's the Cascade Rhino deck. Understood. Accelerating out a Saga ahead of what this deck wants to do is probably reasonable, and digging for Force also reasonable, and we got there. Tropical Island. Nice of them to play a land that I did not see when I looked at their hand. Yo! Okay. Normally, Chalice on 0 obliterates my deck, but I think it's even better against theirs, so Chalice on 0. Force pitching Fire Ice. And I'm going to fight back on this because it shuts off their entire plan. But I'd rather have Psy or Thoughtcast when the dust settles here. Probably Thoughtcast. Force pitching Psy. Mystical Dispute. Well, this is going to cost me my Saga activation, but if I can turn off their whole deck and get a card out of their hand, worth it. I mean, they still have like Minsk and Boo at the top end, but the whole Rhino business is over. It's a dangerous business, that of Rhinos. Get what I can here, and now we'll see how hard I end up getting stepped on by my own Chalices. Okay, no threat identifiable on this board. I think I just get Mox Opal. That's the only way I'm going to get one into play this game. Seat of the Synod. And Thoughtcast, still not castable this turn. Okay, we're in kind of idiot mode. We're both fighting with a hand behind our back. If they shove Minsk and Boo here, we're going to lose. But let's hope they don't. Okay. I'm going to take 2 off Ancient Tomb to cast Thoughtcast with 1 floating. I'm not playing my land yet because I hope to draw Saga. No such luck. And I've drawn 3 zeros immediately. Which, like I said, is a problem for my deck. I was kind of counting on that Urza Saga to put 10 power into play, and it didn't. They're cracking a fetch land. Yeah, now if they have any scraps left over, like if Uro or Endurance or just any card here, like that Hardcast Elvish Spirit Guide that does it too. I need a Saga or something real quick. Okay. Thoughtcast. I'm not going to tap Ancient Tomb this time if I don't have to. Really wish I kept that Psy now. Ooh, and they're forcing. Yeah, okay. I respect that. Psy, Emry, Thought Monitor. I have a lot of great draws here. They're down to 1 card in hand, but I am behind. And I have a lot of bad draws too. Like Mox Opal. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can Force of Will if I need to. They played their 5th land, which means they can Force of Will if they need to also. Oh my god. My Gambit has not paid off. I mean, for what it's worth, drawing 4 0-cost artifact mana sources would not have helped me either, even if I didn't have Chalice and 0 in play. This Mistress Bauble would be something else, but everything else would be largely the same. Oh my god. Basically dead. They're firing me in the end step. Yuck. I mean, countering that would also deal 2 to me because of Ancient Tomb. I don't think we're winning this game. I gotta draw a creature that favorably interacts with Elvish Spirit Guide. Okay, they are pushing an extra 1 damage through here by casting Violent Outburst. And I gotta draw Psy. Psy stabilizes and wins. Emry gets me a rebuy. And Ancient Tomb's not it? Wow. They did the thing. They found their win condition. It was Elvish Spirit Guide. That was disappointing. Okay. Flusterstorm, Force of Negation coming in. Grafdigger's Cage does not work against Cascade because the spell is cast from exile, not from the graveyard or library. I don't think I want to Dismember to kill rhinos. Shadow Spear is great here. Chalice, like we saw, is powerful, but it is powerful against me as well. But I still think it's a good tool for the matchup, and I'm going to get off the Spy combo. Sorry, Spy combo. You had your moment to shine. You did your thing, and now we are facing down a meaningful money match in the final round against a deck that punishes any shenanigans. Yeah, I think if I had just kept Psy instead of Thoughtcast off of that Force of Will, I would have won that game. Lesson learned. The flip side here is, what if I board out my Chalices? Because I'm boarding in all these other answers to Cans of Rhinos, and then I get to keep my deck's actual engine, and I can keep the Mirran Spies. I can't Thoracle Kill, but I think that's okay. Mirran Spies are blue cards, and like we saw in the last round, just putting Kappa into play and drawing 30 cards is going to win the game too. Turn 1 Emry, I will keep. Wish I had a blue card to go with Force, but I might by the time that I need it. Island, Opal, Bauble, Battle, cast Emry, mill a bunch of cards, and Bauble my opponent, because drawing any blue card here is good. Misty Rainforest revealed from their hand. I milled one of my 2 Psys. Sorry to see that go. Found a blue card. There's the Misty. Maybe I want like 1 or 2 Chalices in. I don't know. Does that make any sense? I'm not convinced that it does. Ancient Tomb and play Urza's Bauble. Otawara can bounce a Rhino, and I'm just gonna leave my Bauble unpopped right now because I can hardcast Force of Negation without losing Petal if I leave this up. I will end step it though. I do want more cards. Force of Vigor revealed on top of their deck. I hope they shuffle that away because they're smart and want to hide information. Wink, wink. Oh, baby. Uh-oh. Okie dokie. Can I do this in a way that I can protect it with Force? There's no artifact in my hand, and Opal is off right now. I think I just have to shove it and hope they either don't see what's going on or can't do anything about it. Alright. I'm gonna shove and see what happens. Okay, they're doing something. Probably the Mystical Dispute, yeah. I could have played around that by giving up on my combo. I don't think that's worth it, though. Hard to be sure in these trying times. Shuffled away the Force of Vigor. I'll take that as a W. Urza's Bauble into play. If I play Otawara, I can keep my Lotus Petal. Alright, yeah, that's fine. And Thoughtcast. Oh yeah, that's a handful of counter spells. No doubt about it. And let's look at your hand again. Force of Will over there. That's a powerful card for powerful people. There's a Saga, you love to see it. There are Kraken fetches. Seems likely we will both delete our hands this turn, and they will be end up with a Shardless Agent, and I will end up with a Urza Saga. 1 can of Rhinos, please. Force of Negation, pitching, Force of Negation, Force of Will, pitching, Force of Will, Force of Negation, pitching, Force of Will. Those are all the cards I knew about. And I stacked all of those so they exiled the most cards. Like I Force of Negation rather than Force of Will, that both saved a life and exiled a card. And then I Force of Negation to their Force of Will. I didn't target the Rhinos again, and that's because this deck sometimes plays Murktide Regent. And just having fewer cards in their graveyard matters. Got a Thought Monitor here to stabilize against this Shardless Agent. Another Emry and a Thoughtcast. I think I'm okay deleting Lotus Petal to cast Thoughtcast. More interaction is good. Cool. Found a Force. And what's left in your hand over there? Another Shardless Agent. Glad we found this Force. And the Force will pitch Emry, unless I draw something worse right now. Oh, Flusterstorm. Nasty. And me without 1 mana of relevant color. Force pitching Emry. You get another Shardless Agent. Them attacking it all is dangerous because that puts Thought Monitor in the graveyard where I can re-Emry it and then just start out muscling them. Yeah, they moved into combat and then we're like, oh wait, nope, never mind. Okay. Getting another untap step. Survive 2 Rhinos, have the next one covered. Force of Vigor. Wow, it would be a shame if I simply countered that for 1 mana. And that was both the last cards in your hand? Disappointing. Yeah, I thought so. Okay. As much as they picked me apart in game 1, I picked them apart in game 2. And now we go back to thinking about Chalice of the Void. I think the answer is no. Like my deck functioning in the way that it functions, especially with 10 counter spells post board. Emry was insane that game. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to Chalice them at the cost of my own existence. Force of Will, Accelerated Urza Saga. Count it. 8. We're doing something. We're just shoving on turn 1. Suspending Crashing Footfalls, that's legal. It's not the Spirit Guide Explosion I was hoping for, but you are allowed to do it. The Urza Saga. If I play the Spellbomb out, that makes Force of Vigor more tempting, and I don't want to do that. Because if they want a 2-for-1 themselves to kill Urza Saga, that's fine. I'm not going to give them either Spellbomb for free, even though having it in play is better than having it in my hand. Okay. They've got a can of Rhinos coming. I have a Force of Will. Pitching Thought Monitor. We're the farthest away from that one. Cool. We did it. Another Force of Will. Easy, easy. I hope my opponent watches this later and realizes how much better at this game I am than them. And by that I mean drawing my friggin' specific interaction on the turns that I needed exactly. Okay, the Shardless Agent getting in. They cannot Force a Vigor in the end step, so I will at least get to untap and make another construct before they destroy all my stuff. If that's even going to happen, which I don't know if I would be worried about that right now if I were them. Okay, another construct. And I think Shadow Spear is something I'm interested in at this juncture. Okay, they do have Force of Vigor. Exiling what? Exiling Force of Vigor. I could Force of Will here. They have 1 card left in hand. If it's Mystical Dispute, I'll be bummed out. If it's anything else, I'm fine. I lose Psy to do this, but I don't care about Psy if I get to keep these. All right. Force pitching Psy. Cool. It was not Mystical Dispute. Shooter up. Shadow Spear. Otawara, Soaring City, play it. Mishra's Bauble, play it. Attack for 4. then play Emry. Emry plus Aether Spellbomb is a slow answer to Cans of Rhinos. If their last card in the hand is exactly Violent Outburst, you could be in some trouble. And I think I'd rather have Bauble in play as stats on my constructs than anything else right now, because just 4/4 is the magic number to tangle with Minskin Boo, to tangle with Rhinos. I also have this Thought Monitor in my graveyard who I'm quite interested in putting into play. Okay, they drew Minskin Boo and had Force of Vigor as their last card. I mean, sure. I survived the turn I needed to survive there. Oh. No cap. There's a Bauble in my graveyard, so I can Bauble, and Spellbomb pays for itself because of Improvise, or yeah, it is Improvise. Bang. This thing, the ward is more than your total lands that you have, and we did it. Cool. 4-1 result with SpyCast combo, aka 8-cast, that sometimes does Mirran Spy. And I did have the critique, which I believe is fair, that 8-cast is such a brutal killing machine that it doesn't really need a side combo, and assembling side combo is just kind of like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, your opponent's already dead. But that said, we did turn 2 Goldfish somebody by turn 1 Emry, turn 2 Mirran Spy, GG. And then we also flushed out a Force of Will in that last round on what would have been another GG. I don't know if Mirran Spy is worth the slots. Like, throughout this league, I had multiple moments of like, I'm going to bring in Pithing Needle. Oh, wait, there's not one in the list. Or Brazen Borrower is good in this matchup. Oh, right, there's not one in the list. The Thassa's Oracle and Mirran Spy is coming at the cost of actual relevant game pieces in your high velocity tutor, highly efficient destruction vehicle. Like, I don't know. It's fun. It might even be powerful, but I don't think it's better than just focusing on being 8-cast. But I think we all know that it's not better. We're here to have fun and try something different, and Mirran Spy does fit that bill. I don't believe I would play the Thassa's Oracle on Magic Online. I might play one in paper where you can shortcut it, but even there, it's not necessary. If you get Emry Spy online and just draw, even if you don't have Kappa to present infinite damage the next turn, if you just draw 20 cards, dump them all out, and then draw another 10 cards, and pass the turn with 20 permanents in play and 4 Force Wills in your hand, you're going to win that game too. So maybe Thassa's Oracle should just be a normal card, and you can still just run 2 Mirran Spies for funsies, and they will go off when they go off. But especially on Magic Online, the idea of clicking through all the clicks it takes to generate 1 mana, and then clicking through all the clicks it takes to spend 2 mana and sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw 1 card, and then you have to do that for however many cards are left in your deck, and then cast Thassa's Oracle. At least in a chess clock world, I don't think that's remotely tenable. So even if you are going to play Mirran Spy, drop the Thassa's Oracle on Magic Online. You can play it in paper if you want, but I don't think it's necessary. The second Kappa is where I'd want to be, I think. Or, you know, Brazen Borrower or everything, you know, all those tech things we said. Yeah, probably not the second Kappa. Pick your slots, metagame dependent. That's my feedback. This deck was fun. 8-cast rules. The Mirran Spy thing was actually reasonable the times it came up. And Thassa's Oracle is unnecessary. Mr. Toots, thank you for sharing this with me and the world. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.